Hey guys, I said I would post another video helping those of you who would like to tackle replacing the battery on these BB8 Hero Droids yourself. It's quite a big job. I would not suggest it unless you've had some type of previous technical training, or if you feel confident, maybe if you're a mechanic and you feel confident in taking apart and rebuilding things. It is quite a big task. First step is to tear the droid down, and as I said before, Mike Senna has a wonderful video on the first part on actually getting into the insides of the droid. I would suggest that you use a rubber mallet instead of a regular hammer, which he shows using, and take your time with the end caps on the body. Be sure and take your time as you're loosening the glue bond on those, because you can damage those quite easily, and then it won't be perfect when you put it back together. Once you get that all apart, again, the insides of these are very technical, but there's quite a few steps. You've got to remove the lead weight from the bottom. 4 screws hold that into place, and then you've got to remove the cross member that comes over to the motor. There's a few screws for the sensors, multiple screws that hold the two halves together that get to the battery compartment, and you've also got to disconnect it from the board on the opposite side and snip the little harness that has all those wires going to that board held into place. You got to snip that band to free up that, so that you can free up the cable that goes to the actual battery. And once you do all this, you can carefully separate the two halves, and that's where your battery sits, is right in there. You just carefully separate the two, and you can get your battery out. Again, quite a few steps and a ton of screws that got to come out to separate that body piece. And you do have to remove the one side that has, on the axle, that has the plug in and the switch and the on-off switch. You got to remove that as well. All that just to separate that to get to the battery. They did not have any intention of anybody ever changing the batteries out on these, or them ever lasting longer than a year, which is just sad, because these were the greatest production remote control droid that they ever put out. Anyway, inside you've got the battery pack. It is just a row of double A's, 6 double A's, 7.2 volts, 1800 milliamps, and you can find these online, several different places you can order from. There are a few in the US that you can order these from. And if you happen to get one that has the wrong kind of connector on the end there for the board, you can always snip this and just splice it in, to the other one. The other option that you do have, again, if you're a little bit more technical, is you can get just your standard rechargeable double A's at the store, and take 6 of those and replace the ones that are in this existing battery pack. You have to be very careful when you cut this open. Make sure you don't snip any of the connectors or the wires going through. Make sure you're very careful. Cut it through the middle on one side, and then be very careful about taking those other batteries out and putting the new ones in, because they've got to line up, exactly right, so that they can run in series and connect through. Pretty big job. I would suggest just ordering the battery packs and waiting for those to come, and then if you have to, just splicing in the end before you put it all back together. I'm going to start replacing these and selling bodies with a new battery pack already installed in them, or exchanging those. If somebody wants to send in their body and get a discount for exchanging it, do it that way. anyone who bought one of the BB8s from me that was tested, that was holding a charge and would still run when those stop working, of course, you can just return those, and I'll be glad to replace them with one that has new batteries in it. Thanks again.